putting too much pressure on your hands, but it's there to keep it from being too painful. So let's hold here. Make sure you're breathing, sending oxygen to your hamstrings while you stretch them. And try as hard as you can to relax, because the more relaxed your muscles are, the more flexible they will be. And then I will come up and we'll move it a little bit to the side so that it makes a line with my leg, and then I'll come to the side. In this position, I want to make sure my hips are even and I'm not letting one be higher than the other. And again, I'm breathing. And then we'll come back up and move it to the other side. And you can also be moving your body instead of the stool or chair or whatever you're using. Remembering to breathe. And back up. And just one more time for good measure, we're going to come back to the center. So I'm going to come down on my elbows here to give myself a little bit of an extra stretch, but I only recommend doing this if you're able to keep your back flat while doing so. And by that I mean it's engaged, your shoulder blades are tucked down, pulling towards your lower back, and you aren't letting it arch up like this. Just keeping it nice and flat, should be parallel to the ground. And if you aren't able to do that here, then come back up onto your hands. And then we'll come back up to stand. So for this next stretch, we're going to be sitting on the ground. So I'm going to move this stool out of our way. I'm going to sit back on the edge of my mat and extend my legs out to either side. Now in a full straddle stretch, your legs will be straight, but in our modified version, we'll have our legs bent here, lifting our knees up off of the ground. And from here, you'll just go as far forward as you can. Now, I encourage you to place your hands a foot, maybe 2 feet in front of your hips. And from here, you want to slowly try and straighten your legs, bringing your knees to touch the ground. So that's what you're fighting for, and you just want to hold. So straddle stretch is a great stretch to be able to see your own progress in. I encourage you to pay attention to the floor if you're stretching in the same place every day, because you'll start to see your hands move along, and it's really encouraging. So while you're pulling to get into these stretches a little bit deeper, you always want to make sure you're pulling from the right place. And the common thing to do is pull the top of your head down to try and pull yourself closer to the ground, but you actually want to pull your chest closer, and that's going to keep your back lifted and your shoulder blades pinched together like the flat back I was talking about earlier, so you're able to reach out and really go to the fullest extent of your stretch. So for now, make sure you're pulling your chest out and think about trying to get that pulled down all the way to the ground. Okay, so now we're going to stretch each side, and in a normal straddle stretch, we could stay here and then fold over to each side, but to make it a bit easier, we bring our opposite leg in and then go over. So you want to grab onto your leg and pull your chest closer as you stretch. And you want to make sure you're keeping that back flat. You will be able to reach farther if you arch, but you're losing all of that nice stretch in the back of your leg, all through your hamstring if you do so. So fight for that flat back and try and get that chest to your knee. And now we'll go to the other side. So we'll switch, bring our other leg into our thigh, and then fold over. I'm pulling my chest to my knee, stretching out that hamstring. Trying to keep your back as flat as you can. and come back up and to the center. Let's do the middle stretch one more time. So we'll bend our knees and come forward. Maybe notice that you've made a little bit of an improvement, a centimeter or two. Each time you do it, you should feel a little bit more comfortable. And fight to lower your knees a little bit. Keeping that back flat. A few more seconds. Really lower down as far as you can. And come out of it. Amazing. So now we're going to bring our feet into the middle for a butterfly stretch. And here I'm just going to sit and hold my ankles and push my knees down with my elbow. You should be feeling a nice stretch either in your groin or in your glutes, or maybe both, depending on where you need to be more flexible. And we're gonna fold over, and in this stretch it's okay if you let your head go and you arch your back. It's one of the few. Really pulling yourself down. And now we're gonna do the opposite and try and stretch out and keep that back as flat as we can. Pushing that chest out, really stretching out those hips. And come back up. So the next thing that we're going to do is going to be a pike stretch, and I'm gonna move sideways for this so you can see me better. So the key to doing this is having your hips all the way underneath your body and your back up straight behind you. If you're unable to sit up straight, then you want to keep your butt above your feet. And there are a couple different ways that you can do this. The easiest way, using only your body, is to actually come up onto one knee and extend the other one in front of you so that you can start to lean forward. That'll make it a lot easier. You just have to make sure that you do it on both sides. You can also be in a pike with either a low chair or maybe a few towels stacked underneath you so that you're lifted above your feet. So for now, I'm going to stay seated here on the mat, but if you need to go and grab a chair or something else to sit on, go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to lean forward, grabbing as far down on my legs as I can. And if you are here and you're sitting up super straight and it's already stretching the backs of your hamstrings, that is absolutely great. I encourage you to stay here and keep fighting for it. If you chose to sit here without any other props assisting you, also make sure that you're not pushing yourself too hard. Maybe you can do it, but you might find that you're able to make more progress in a stretch that's slightly more comfortable. So just make the decision that's best for you. The other thing you'll find is that it's easier whenever your toes are pointed. So if you flex, you'll get a deeper stretch, coming all the way up to the tops of the hamstrings. And then we'll come out of it. Awesome job, guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna scooch forward a little bit so I can lay down on my back here. And we're gonna lift one leg up, and you can grab it as low as you need to. The other thing that you could do here is grab a belt or a scarf or an actual exercise band, wrap around your heel and then pull your leg closer. But holding lower down on your leg is just fine too. And as you're practicing this stretch, you want to make sure that you're always reaching and trying to walk your hands up and get them all the way up here. This really is the goal of this stretch, but for now, it's fine to grab it down here. And then I'm gonna bend my knee in, pull it to my chest, and bring it over my body to come to a twist. Really feeling it all through the spine. And come back.
And we'll straighten again. Always pulling it closer to you. Feeling that stretch in the hamstring. And one more time, pulling it to your chest. And then over. Every time you breathe, relax your spine a bit more. And then we'll come back to center. And switch, bring the other leg up, grab as high up as you can and pull it closer to you. Making sure that top leg is all the way straight. And then bending it in. To pull across your body. Turn your head to face the other way. And breathe, releasing your spine, letting it fully twist.